Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. Is there a single person on earth who really believes that Donald Trump is in China to represent the public interest, to help ordinary Americans, put America in the best possible position? It's what state visits like these are supposed to be about. But with Trump, it feels like a lot of money-grubbing private interest. Let's just start with who he's traveling with, his retinue, some of the richest and most powerful people on earth. Elon Musk, Jensen Huang of NVIDIA, Tim Cook of Apple, Dina Powell of Meta, about a dozen others from companies like BlackRock and Boeing. What do you think their agenda is during this trip? Do you think they're focused on what's best for, like, the American middle class, the working class? Or are they focused on what's best for them, for their shareholders and their boards? Well, we know the answer. Reuters is reporting that, quote, a critical precondition for companies to join the trip was having a tangible ask that promised a concrete outcome or a handshake deal during or after the summit. A precondition for these CEOs to attend the trip was to have some kind of scheme cooked up to make some more cash. Here's another one for you. The Trump family would have you believe the president's adult son, Eric, the guy who runs the Trump Organization and just flew to China with his dad's entourage of oligarchs, is on the trip solely to support his dad.
This is probably the best of it, what you're seeing right here. Air Force One flying to the other side of the world, just to be an observer, to be a fly on the wall, and to keep your father company. I have no other role in this trip.
Oh, dad needs company, fly on the wall. Oh, look, little me here, just watching this all happen. You really believe that? Eric Trump runs a family business, just there to keep his dad company. The one who was like on the board of some drone company. He's got a Pentagon contract and also runs some phone company that sells golden Trump phones that never ship. That guy. When even the first lady apparently couldn't be bothered to go. I mean, Donald Trump knows the score here. We all do, right? Once upon a time, Donald Trump has very strong feelings about a son traveling with his father on an official state visit to China.
Hunter, I just want to tell you, I couldn't be happier for you and your family. And I know you don't know anything about energy, and I know it's an energy company, but I think they made a great deal, Hunter. And then they fly to China. And I'm dealing with people right now, they're tough as hell, those Chinese negotiators. And Hunter, who's not too smart, Hunter. He goes in, he has a meeting, he walks out in his fund with $1.5 billion, with a B, $1.5 billion.
Now, Trump sure thought it was a problem when Hunter Biden flew on Air Force One. With Eric, of course, it's fine, right? By the way, is it me or did Donald Trump seem like 20 years younger in that clip? My God. And again, it's only a scandal when it's sort of different than the background, right? When you can, like, you know, make it out. I mean, that was the thing about the whole Hunter Biden stuff, right? And Joe Biden, it's like that was this one thing they could point to. But that's not how Trump operates, right? This is just every day. Every day there's some new example of how the Trump family is enriching itself. Take this situation. This is wild. And maybe you saw this, maybe you didn't. With the Palm Beach airport, do you see this? Okay. There's a Palm Beach airport. The state of Florida has now sycophantically renamed it the President Donald J. Trump International Airport. Normally, this would just be a symbolic tribute. It's not for the Trumps. Get this. As The Guardian reports, quote, analysts predict the president is likely to net millions from the unorthodox legal agreement between Palm Beach County and DTTM Operations, LLC, his Delaware-based company that oversees licensing, marketing, and intellectual property. Under the leadership of Donald Trump Jr., the company, part of the wider Trump Organization, has assumed numerous rights and advantages the analysts say are unusual for a contract of this nature, irrespective that it prohibits direct financial compensation from goods sold at the airport. So basically what this is the Trump family business gets to total control over the vendors who hawk merch to tourists and retain the right to make money from any licensing of the airport's name. Again, one of those things like the no-bid contract for $13 million of the pool refinishing that just would be like dominating the news for a week. But again, just also used to headlines like that. It's baked in. It's baked in. We know it. Trump and the family and the people around him will take every single opportunity to enrich themselves, regardless of the optics. The corruption has become so commonplace, it's not news. Here's another example. Again, these are just from today. I'm just doing today's news. So back in 2024, the Biden DOJ indicted India's richest man, Gautam Adani, for corruption and fraud. Adani then hired, wait for it, ready? One of Trump's personal lawyers as his representation. Now, I could stop there and be like, guess how this ends up, ladies and gentlemen? Well, as the New York Times reports, Trump's lawyer got Adani a meeting with the DOJ last month where he made the government an offer. He went through the case and all the reasons they shouldn't prosecute and why they had a strong defense. But then there was a slide that said if they dropped the case, Adani would invest $10 billion in the U.S. economy and create 15,000 jobs. First of all, do we think that's really going to happen? But also, what the hell, dude? That has nothing to do with a criminal case. Well, today, the Times reported that, lo and behold, the DOJ will drop the charges. Sure, feels like they proffered a bribe. I mean, again, maybe not to Trump's pockets directly, but it gives him achievement to tout, right? That's the whole point. Which brings us today, and again, we are just doing today's news as the president of China, just today's news, okay? That brings us to the pièce de résistance, what I like to think of as the Sistine Chapel of Trump corruption, what you might call the Great Heist. Yes, it's the story we covered last night, in which Donald Trump is trying to shake down his own government, the one that he controls, for $10 billion with a B Donald Trump dollars. Okay? He's suing the IRS for his tax returns leaking, in which, by the way, is a very legally defective suit, just parentheses. And he wants a settlement. And he's the one overseeing whether he's going to get a settlement. It's his government, right? Well, today, as he's off in China making deals for God knows who, we have more reporting about how this heist might shake out. According to a new report in the ABC News, which MS Now has not independently confirmed, Trump has a broad outline of what he wants for his settlement. Trump will drop his lawsuit, get this, ready, in exchange for an opaque, secretive, unaccountable $1.7 billion slush fund of your tax dollars, okay? Deposited in, specifically, wait for it, for so-called victims who claim they were unfairly targeted by the Biden DOJ. I'm going to quote here from ABC's reporting. While the exact terms of the settlement are still being finalized, sources have described the proposed compensation fund as a hybrid between a victim compensation fund similar to the civil claims process that followed the 2010 Deepwater Horizon oil spill and a truth and reconciliation style commission. The settlement terms are expected to prohibit Trump from directly receiving payments related to those three legal claims. However, entities associated with Trump are not explicitly barred from filing additional claims, sources said. Under the terms of the potential settlement agreement, President Trump would have the authority to remove members of the commission running the fund without cause. The commission would be under no obligation to disclose its procedures or decision-making process for awarding more than $1 billion, the sources said. Think of this. $1.7 billion of our money, of public money, money that could go to Medicaid or to food stamps or to repairing roads or to helping farmers or whatever. $1.7 billion that Trump now controls with zero oversight of your money to dole out to who? How? Maybe he'll give it to the guys who beat the cops half to death on January 6th, the ones that were like trying to crush him in the door until he died and then he was rescued. Or maybe they'll give it to the dude with the Auschwitz T-shirt or the guy with the Confederate flag. Or maybe he'll dole out millions to the men convicted of seditious conspiracy for an attempt armed insurrection against our democracy. You believe the guy who reportedly wants that deal has your best interest at heart?